Hi, my name is Michelle Renee Hyatt from Sew on the Go. Today I'm coming to you from my studios and I'm going to talk to you about my Summer Star quilt. The Summer Star quilt comes together with your tucker trimmer, either the 1 or the 3, and the magic wand. Also, you'll need a good fabric marking pencil. I like the Sew Line pencils. They're ceramitized chalk, so they leave a nice thin line, but they eventually come out of your quilt as you sew, so leaving nothing behind. My Summer Star quilt is offered in 6 sizes. You can make from a baby all the way up to a king size using charm packs to layer cakes, fat quarters, quarter yards, third yards. It is made up of 8 fabrics that are warm and 8 fabrics that are cool. For tips on color, please check out my blog on sewonthego.net. You can reach any of my Facebook pages, my blog. On my blog, I offer weekly tips and tricks on color, mysteries, piecing, ironing, pressing, you name it. So be sure to check it out. My Summer Star quilt is made up of half square triangles. You're going to need a couple different types. You're going to need warm with background. You're going to need cool with background. And then you're going to need cool and warm. These are going to come together really easily using our tucker trimmer. So let's get started. To start off with, we're going to need our magic wand, and we're going to start off with marking the lighter of the 2 fabrics. So in putting together my cool and background and my warm and background, I'm going to choose to mark my background. We're going to take it and put it the wrong side facing up. We're going to take our quilter's magic wand and we're going to put the center line from point to point, corner to corner, diagonally. I'm then going to use my Sew Line pencil and get in there nice and tight up against the magic wand. The trick to Sew Line pencils and any chalk pencil is to kind of feather it. So you don't want to really push hard. You just want to get in there and just kind of feather it along the line, getting as tight as possible. You'll then have 2 lines. You're then going to pair that up with one of your colors. I'm going to start with my warm. And my warms in this quilt are orange and pink, and my cools are blue and green. Now that I have my 2 lines, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to use an open foot. I want to use a foot that I can see the needle go up and down on the line. Now that I have my stitch lines, I'm going to cut this through the center. I'm going to take a ruler. Your magic wand is not a cutting device. And I'm going to line up the ruler point to point. So I'm just going to cut it right in half. Now that I have the 2 halves, I'm going to take and set my line, my stitching line. So I'm going to set the pressing stitch. I'm then going to finger press and then press. People tend to take the iron and shove. You don't want to do that. You really just want to set the seam, press, and then finger press. Next, we're going to trim our unit. So if you are right-handed, you are going to take your tucker trimmer, and it has 2 sides. If you're not familiar with it, Deb Tucker, who designed this ruler, really set us up for success. She made it really easy for us. On one side, we have a solid circle, which is for our whole numbers, ranging from 1 to 6. On the opposite corner, we have a half circle. The half circle is the side that we're going to use when we're cutting 1/2 inch measurements. So from 1.5 all the way to 6.5. You're going to consult your pattern for the exact size you should be trimming your unit. However, they all end in 1/2 inches. So if you're right-handed, we're going to place our half circle in the upper right corner and then line up our proper size line actually on the seam line. When we do that, we're going to take a look and make sure we have a little bit of fabric all the way around the square that in this case is 5.5 for me. All right, I'm then going to take my ruler or rotary and I'm going to cut up the side and then come in about 1 inch in, roll back and go forward, trimming up 2 of the sides. Then I'm going to take and turn my unit 180 degrees. I'm going to take my ruler, my tucker trimmer, line up the proper size on the just cut edge, which will then place my proper size line on the seam line again, leaving me just a few hairs all the way around the unit. And I'm going to trim those last 2 sides. When I do that, I then have a perfectly sized square, perfectly sized half square triangle. Now, if you're left-handed, you're going to do pretty much the opposite. We're going to take our tucker trimmer and we're going to put the half circle in our upper left since we're left-handed. We're going to take our unit and place our proper size line on our seam line, which in my case is 5.5. You'll consult your pattern for the proper size for your quilt size. I'm then going to take a look around my 5.5 inch square and ensure that I have fabric on all sides. I'm then going to trim 2 sides. Then I'm going to take and rotate my unit 180 degrees, line up my just cut size, my just cut 2 sides with the proper size line. My proper size line is on my seam. And then I'm going to trim the remaining 2 sides, giving me, again, a perfectly sized half square triangle. So her tools work for right and left-handed. All my patterns include right and left-handed instructions. You'll continue making these, making your warm with background, your cool with background, your cool with warm, and then you'll refer to the layout in my pattern book to put together your summer star quilt. I hope you'll follow me at my Sew on the Go pages. I have a blog and Facebook page that I would love for you to follow. I'm always doing something fun, whether or not it's a quilt mystery, teaching some color, or hopefully soon organizing and having some quilt retreats. Thank you again for joining me.